Everyone, welcome back. My name is dustinkreis, and today we are going to do a game discussion, and we're going to talk about this game right here, Hyrule Warriors, for the Wii U, of course, brought to us by Nintendo, Koei Tecmo, and Team Ninja. And this is Dynasty Warriors with a coat of Zelda paint over top of it. And some people get really turned off by Dynasty Warriors. I'm kind of a new convert to the series, and I really kind of enjoy it. And when they announced that there was going to be one with Zelda characters, I thought it was a perfect match, and I was actually getting kind of excited for it. So I went out and pre-ordered it, and got it, brought it home, and I just got super addicted to it, the way that people who enjoy Dynasty Warriors just get super addicted to it. And for your money, if you enjoy the Dynasty Warriors gameplay, there is a ton of content here for your money, especially if you're a Zelda fan. It's kind of a love letter to Zelda fans in a way. And I just had an amazing time with it, and I still have so much to do in this, because once you beat the story mode, there's the entirety of the adventure mode there to play, and it really adds a lot of content and challenge to the game. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. This game's kind of getting beat up a little bit for its storyline, and I don't understand that, because to me, Zelda has never been like a great video game story. Like, the plotting is always cool, but the characterizations in the game have always seemed kind of lacking. There's not a lot of personality to the characters. And, I mean, that's part of Zelda's charm, but it's also part of the problem I have with the storylines. But, so, for this game, I really don't see what people are having a problem with. I mean, it is what it is, and I don't see much of a difference between this and other Zelda games. Basically, the game starts off, as almost all Zelda games do. There's a evil character out there trying to gather up the Triforce and, fight a war with Hyrule, and a hero awakens and leads Hyrule against this evil and wins back the Triforce. That's the storyline of the Zelda games. And I actually found this one to be quite enjoyable. There is some missteps in the story, but for the most part, it just feels right. Because I always felt like the Zelda worlds were vastly underpopulated, just sparse. And there's something cool about seeing an actual war in Hyrule over this stuff, because it's always kind of alluded to, but it always feels like Link is on his own, and has to fight this war by himself. But to see Link lead troops in the battle just kind of feels right. And there are some missteps. The new characters that they add into the game really don't add that much, like Lana and Sia, and we'll talk about Sia in a minute, because there's something cool that this game does. There's a lot more female characters in this game than males, it seems like. And of course, I still have some to unlock, and most of the male characters are the bad guys, but to be able to play as Zelda, or Ruto, or any of the other female characters in the game, Impa especially. Impa's a badass in this game. And to see them not only be playable, but just as powerful as Link, or, one of the other characters, male characters I should say, is really an awesome thing. And, we're kind of, I keep reading about this Gamergate thing, and sort of the portrayal and representation of women in gaming, because, a lot of people out there have a problem with this, but a lot of gamers out there, like, it's shifting. It's not just not just a boys club anymore. A lot of females out there are gamers, and to have equal representation in gaming is kind of an awesome thing. And not only to have equal representation, but have some of the female characters in this game be the best characters is really quite awesome. Where it kind of takes a misstep, and it's just a misstep because it feels out of place for a Zelda game, is the character of Sia. And this is where sort of the Team Ninja influence comes in, because Sia does not feel like she should be in a Legend of Zelda game at all. She should be in Dead or Alive. Because, I remember sitting there with my girlfriend's daughter, who is 5, and she just loves watching me play this game because it's flashy and there's a lot of action on the screen, and she loves The Legend of Zelda. And I didn't know Sia was in this game, and we're just kind of sitting there, and Sia comes on the screen, and I mean, she's just cleavage a mile long, and I kind of like turn and look at this 5-year-old watching me play. Luckily, it kind of just, you know, went over her head because I didn't make a big deal about it. But it feels really out of place, and that's sort of where I feel like the Team Ninja influence came in. Because Zelda's never been an overtly sexual series, and while I don't think it's a bad thing in games, you know, whatever, I mean, it's an art form just like film. They can explore whatever they want to have like a family friendly series like Zelda, you know, I can see some people, you know, having a problem with that, but it just feels kind of out of place, and it's a weird thing because this is actually a very it's actually a very good game for female characters, and then just to have like this sort of sore thumb in there, it seems a little weird, but you know, I didn't really have a problem with it. It just kind of felt out of place. But yeah, I mean, from a storyline perspective, I was kind of just as wrapped up in this game to see what, you know, ends up happening as I was every other Zelda game. And eventually it allows you to play as Ganondorf. And that was kind of cool to play from the enemy's perspective and be fighting against Link and all that kind of stuff. So there is a lot of cool little story aspects, and I felt like it kind of, I don't know, you felt like you were rising to power with Ganondorf, and it felt kind of awesome to play as the bad guy and sort of amassing your troops and stuff like that. So, I mean, it kind of runs into that thing that Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 did, where when you mash all the different Zelda worlds together, you kind of get a storyline that, you know, in parts doesn't make sense, but there's parts about the Zelda storyline that doesn't make sense anyway, but it's not as bad as Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. That basically took every cartoon, smashed them all together, and you're just like, I have no idea what's going on, but I'm just going to keep fighting with these awesome-looking robots. But even sometimes in the actual Gundam series, you don't really have an idea what's going on anyway, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah, I mean, it kept me going. You know, it's not going to set your world on fire like, say, a Final Fantasy or something like that would, but it'll definitely keep you playing. From the gameplay perspective, if you played a Dynasty Warriors game, you know exactly what to expect in this. But what's cool is it incorporates some of the Legend of Zelda stuff. Like with Dynasty Warriors Gundam, there wasn't really any reason to explore the stages. With Zelda, they actually incorporate some of the exploration into the Dynasty Warriors formula. So every stage you play has hidden things like heart containers and pieces of hearts and Skulltulas to find, and these give you bonuses, of course, and reasons to go back to the stages and replay them other than just collecting rupees and getting experience points, just grinding, essentially. Or it makes grinding easier because you can go back and actually work towards something. The only thing that's kind of sucky about that is every time you restart a stage, you have to kind of listen to the narration for the stage, and you can skip it, and you can skip the cutscenes, but it just seems like it takes a while for these things to load, so it kind of bogs you down a little bit when you want to replay levels. It felt like in Dynasty Warriors Gundam, I was able to replay stages a lot faster than I was in Hyrule Warriors, but that's just sort of a nitpicky little thing. But as you move through the story mode, when you fight these gold Skulltulas, which you actually have to find within a certain amount of time before they flee, you get these pictures, or pieces of a picture. And as you collect them, you upgrade the shop to buy new weapons and new badges to strengthen your teammates and stuff. And where was I going with that? But that's what you do with it. Shit, I lost my train of thought. It happens in these videos. But, yeah, after you get done with that story mode, which I don't remember how long it actually took me to beat that, you have this whole adventure mode to play. And what the adventure mode is, which I've just started delving into this, it basically presents you with the original Legend of Zelda map, and you start off at the bottom square like you do in the original Legend of Zelda, and each square represents a stage to play. And each square might have, like, one might be defeat 300 foes within, 3 minutes, which, if you know a Dynasty Warriors game, that's not completely undoable because there's just so many enemies on the screen. But even these stages have things to explore and find, like heart pieces and scatalas. And, I mean, when you look at these two modes, the Legend mode, which is the story mode, and the adventure mode, the Legend mode just feels like an appetizer to the real game, which is the adventure mode. And, this is going to be something that I work on every now and then. Maybe I'll just get sick of playing the game I'm playing now, go back to Hyrule Warriors, play a couple stages, kind of get a palate cleanse, and then go back to the game I was playing. Really easy to pick this up and sort of play. Maybe each stage might, except for like the adventure mode stuff, which you have like a time limit sometimes. Like the Legend mode stages, might take like a half hour, 45 minutes. So, but yeah, so much content in this, and the Legend of Zelda items make a comeback, so you can use your bombs and you can use your arrows and boomerangs and things like that. They really incorporated the two gameplay styles together really well, I think, and really a satisfying package. Graphically, this game, there's really no fault to this game. The only thing is, in this world of PS4 and Xbox One graphics, it's not going to blow you away. However, when you look at the game, you're like, it's really a colorful, gorgeous game. And, I actually really dig the way Link looks in this game. I like the scarf he has on him. I like you can see the chainmail armor underneath his tunic. And, it feels a lot more realistic than even the Skyward Sword. It kind of goes back to that Twilight Princess feel in a way. And, I was kind of hoping the new Zelda would go that way, since we, HD and all that stuff. But even the new Zelda, I really like the art style that they showed at on their Nintendo Direct. But yeah, I mean, graphically, it's not going to blow you away. It's not going to win any awards. But you're not going to be like, this is an ugly ass game. It's really, a beautiful, colorful game, and I never noticed any graphical glitches or hiccups or anything like that. So it's kind of weird nowadays to have a game where things run smoothly. It always seems like there's some kind of hiccup or texture pop in or something like that, and then something like this comes along and everything just runs silky smooth. It really is, it's kind of a subtle thing, but I think it's really important too that they actually ship a game that doesn't have those in it. I don't know why other companies can't do that, but hey, whatever. From an audio standpoint, I like most of what the game does. It brings back a lot of sound effects from the previous Zeldas, so it really does feel like a love letter. The weird thing is there's no voice acting. That got a lot of attention, the fact that there's no voice acting other than the narration of the game, which people kind of gave some flack as well, but I found it to be okay. I mean, it's not like it broke the game or anything, it's just kind of stilted. But, Zelda's never had voice acting, so I don't know why people are so weirded out by the fact that, when people talk, they just kind of grunt, because that's the way every Zelda game has been since the Ocarina of Time, But, the only thing I didn't really care for was the music in certain times. A lot of times the music feels right, but every now and then they remix a Zelda track as like this heavy metal type thing. It just doesn't feel right. It's kind of a clashing thing. I like my Zelda scores to be sweeping and orchestral, and to have like heavy metal guitars and things like that. It just doesn't feel right. But it goes with the action of the game, since this is a very action-heavy game, but it just doesn't feel right for a Zelda game, I guess. So, that's really it. I mean, Hyrule Warriors, I think, is a great reason to dust off your Wii U. I mean, this is kind of the reason why we pick up Nintendo systems anyway, is to play the Nintendo games. And this is kind of one of those weird games that Nintendo's been finding themselves in, a situation that Nintendo's been finding itself in a lot lately, which is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Everyone kind of complains that Nintendo franchises kind of rest on their laurels and things like that. And then when they try to do something new with it, everyone's like, well, that's a stupid idea. But this is actually a really good idea and a really fun game, and I really enjoy it. And I'm glad that Nintendo is continuing to make systems, because it'd be very easy for them to go the route of Sega and just put this stuff on the PS4 and just laugh all the way to the bank. But they continually put out hardware and create this environment where you just sit down with the Nintendo system and you just know you're going to have fun. And sometimes, I mean, I got a lot of games for my Xbox, I got a lot of games for my PS3. Sometimes you're not always sure of that with those systems, but I feel like with Nintendo, you sit down with a game and you know you're going to have fun. And that's what Hyrule Warriors is. It's a lot of fun, a lot of content for what you pay, and I definitely recommend, you know, giving the game a shot. It's a first-party Nintendo game, so I doubt it's ever going to get cheap, but who knows, you know. Metroid Other M got really cheap really fast, so if people, I guess, I mean, the critical whatever has been pretty solid on this, so I don't know if it'll drop like Metroid Other M did, but maybe it'll get down to the $20 mark sometime, and or maybe it'll be released as a greatest hits or something. But if you're on the fence about it, and you're on the fence about the Dynasty Warriors series, maybe pick up one of the cheaper games and give it a shot, see if you like the gameplay, and then try this, because this really is just Dynasty Warriors with a few added Zelda things and a Zelda coat of paint. But I'm definitely glad I picked it up, and definitely enjoyed my time with it. So anyway, that is it for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.